when MJ said on The Last Dance that he didn't have any specific involvement in blocking Isiah Thomas from being on the legendary Dream Team? Well, audio has surfaced from an old interview in which MJ says straight up he told 1992 Olympic Selection Committee member Rod Thorne he's out of it if Thomas makes the team. Here's the quote from Jack McCollum's The Dream Team tapes. He said, "Rod Thorne called me. I said, Rod, I won't play if Isiah Thomas is on the team. He assured me. He said, you know what? Chuck, Charles Barkley doesn't want Isiah. So Isiah is not going to be part of the team." I realize that's a lot to digest right now, but we welcome in Kendrick Perkins to the show as well with Dominique Foxworth and Max Kellerman, of course. And let's start with you on this one, Max, as we will work to try and get this audio cleared so you can hear it yourself. But how does this quote make MJ look?
It doesn't make him look good from a kind of ethical point of view if he's denying something that he in fact said and he's doing it to look good publicly when in fact he knows the truth would make him look bad publicly. That's the case. It makes him look bad in that respect. But I gotta say, it makes him look like a boss, guys. I mean, how can you be the biggest, baddest gangster, Al Capone or you know, Scarface or someone, and you're Kaiser Sose, and you're doing it from the shadows? Like, how are you both things? You know, Stephen A. brings up on this show all the time, LeBron James wants to control the narrative. He talks about that a lot, control the narrative, control the narrative. Kobe Bryant, you know, rest in peace, I dealt with Kobe a bit in L.A., and he was masterful. The way he talked to the media and the way he could kind of get his message out there through the media deftly, make you understand that, in fact, what was in his best interest was also the team's best interest. And you could even see when the media would work for LeBron or Kobe. I bring those two up because those were really smart guys and the best players in the game post-Jordan, the best wing players, right, post-Jordan. Jordan, to me, doesn't have the same kind of reputation for manipulating or controlling the narrative, and yet that's what he's kind of doing here, right? If he's getting other people to say publicly, at least that he's claiming he never said that, and to present the other side of the story, and then it comes out, no, actually there's audio. Like, when you think about what Jordan's done, his sneakers still outsell LeBron's 5-1. He owns a team. The documentary that just came out about him has him, you know, trending over every other player. And he can deny he said things, and it turns out, no, actually, here's the audio of the thing that you denied you said. Where there was criticism of the doc, it's that Jordan had too much control. He somehow manages to, it seems to me, control things in a way and also be the most obvious guy who may be controlling things, and yet sometimes 2 and 2 aren't put together. It's an impressive feat.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it reminds me of what B.J. Armstrong said about him as a player, how he learned how to win. Like, he understands how to control the people in all the pawns in this game without always being, while always being the king at all times. I'm going to get out the way and let Perk take it over because I know he has more insight than me. But, I mean, it doesn't change the way that I think about Jordan because that's who Jordan is. Like, we knew who he was. Nobody believed him when he said, I had nothing to do with keeping Isiah off. Like, that's who Jordan is. He's a powerful, petty player who is also quite dominant and takes these little slights. But I do think, to Max's point, like, it's impressive for him to be the most powerful man in the game on the court and also be able to wield that power on something as big as the Dream Team. What do you think, Perk?
Listen, I'm starting the campaign. Free Zeke. Free Zeke. What is the problem with Isiah Thomas? Isiah Thomas is a great individual, and to me, you know what it is? They had a problem with Isiah Thomas' competitive nature. He was the ultimate competitor. That's the only way I see them keeping him off the Dream Team. Now, and saying that they didn't want to play with him. Now, here's my thing. The last documentary was the best sports documentary that I ever saw. But it was one thing I took away from it. It was full of lies, and it was full of snitching. And when we look at Michael Jordan, and I'm glad he's not my GOAT. LeBron James is my GOAT, but that's y'all GOAT. He lied. He threw everybody under the bus. At the end of the day, the last dance was to make MJ look like a superhero and make everybody else look like a villain. If you go down the line, Scottie Pippen is pissed off. Horace Grant is pissed off. Isiah Thomas is pissed off. And then, God rest his soul, Jerry Krause wasn't even here to defend himself. And I talked to so many people that knew Jerry Krause, and they was like, Jerry Cross wasn't that bad of a guy. He should have got more credit than what he did, more credit than what they gave him on The Last Dance. But they made him out to be this bad individual when he actually did a really good job at being a general manager. So at the end of the day, I'm just happy that LeBron James is my GOAT. Y'all could deal with MJ and all his lies, but LBJ is my GOAT, and I'm just happy to be part of Team James.
Listen, LeBron, when you talk about GOAT on the court at their best, that's MJ. We could debate that all day, but I understand what you mean, Perkins. You're taking other things into consideration too. LeBron is like, Magic never gave me the feeling, as competitive as he was, that he was a miserable guy. Magic walks into a room, and if you've ever dealt with him, he's a born point guard. Everyone in the room, he starts to say little things, and everyone aspires to live up to however Magic sees them. He does not seem like a miserable person. LeBron James, to me, doesn't seem like a miserable person. And considering how close he got to be in terms of Jordan's level, when you factor in other stuff like that, it's kind of like, well, who'd you rather live your life as? Tough to make the argument that it's not LeBron James or Magic Johnson or someone who doesn't seem as miserable.
Yeah, I think LeBron James, obviously, if you take it to... Go ahead, Perk.
Well, Max, I'm not about to sit up here and go back and forth with you today about who's the greatest of all time on the court, because guess what? My grandmother called me yesterday and she said, Ken, why are you hollering at Max Kellerman like that on TV? And I said, Granny, you know what? I'm not going to do that today. So, Max, I'm going to keep my composure, but we could debate later on and down the line about why LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. But when we talking about what Michael Jordan did in The Last Dance, come on, guys. He threw guys under the bus. He was sitting up there lying on people, and now I see why everybody is mad. And now the evidence is coming out. Again, free Zeke. Free Zeke. That's why I'm going with it.
I'm joining the campaign.
Hey,